Due to modern medicine and advances made in the medical profession, there are thousands of surgeries that are designed to save or prolong one's life. Some surgeries are simple while others are more complicated and require more time, and sometimes it's a lot more time. So this right here is the top 10 longest surgeries, and this list was a very hard one to make. There's tens of millions of surgeries out there. Let me know if I've missed any, and we can do maybe a part 2 of this list. So starting off this list, in at number 10 we have the 9-hour risky surgery. It was an open heart surgery on an infant who was only 4 days old. Reggie Aslan was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which is a rare defect, which means she only has half a heart. So at 4 years old, surgeons performed a risky 3-step operation which would get the right side of the heart to do the job of the left side. However, due to his condition, he will most likely have to undergo at least 3 more open heart surgeries in the future. But you know what? Best of luck. A 10-hour surgery to implant rods into a child's spine makes its way into this list at number 9. We're talking about Leah Archambault. She underwent a 10-hour surgery in Boston to implant rods into her spine, and this was her 10th surgery in a span of only 3 years. Leah has been in and out of hospital because she's been suffering from a congenital malformation involving a split in her spinal cord. Her surgery was successful, and now she has a rod in her back which can be adjusted with the transponder so that they won't have to be removed as she grows. Next up, number 8, we have a face-saving operation that was performed on 30-year-old Pascal Couler, who was a Frenchman who was suffering from a rare condition that causes extremely disfiguring tumors. Well, in 2007, highly qualified surgeons were able to perform a 16-hour operation that would save Pascal's face. The surgical team had to replace almost all of his face. He had new lips, cheeks, nose, mouth, and that's just to name a few features. These features were from a donor. So at this time period, this is only the 3rd face transplant to have ever been done. And what's so crazy is this year, 2017, which was 10 years after this face surgery, surgeons are now confident that they can perform a head transplant. Yes, a head transplant. That is insane. Head transplants have only been done in animals in the past, but it's never been tried on a human. So at the end of this year at some point, it will be performed for the first time ever. I'm sure that the surgery is going to be very complex and it's going to be a very long time to complete. If successful, it can save millions of people's lives, and the technology used from this surgery can help us in many other ways and help us on future complex operations. Number 7 brings us to the 23-hour heart surgery. Dr. Religa conducted the first successful heart transplant in Poland back in 1985. The surgery was extremely demanding, lasting 23 hours. He spent several hours just watching and monitoring the patient's vital signs. And at the time, the surgery was considered to be borderline impossible, but he took the chance and the operation was very successful. Heart transplants save countless lives. It's doctors like this who continue to be innovative and care. The 25-hour surgery that separated conjoined twins comes into this list at number 6. This surgery took place in Melbourne, Australia, and it took a team of 16 surgeons and nurses to perform this. The surgery was to separate twin Bangladeshi girls who had been joined at their heads, sharing blood vessels and brain tissue. Very complex. The twins were 2-year-old Trishna and Krishna. This was called a marathon operation, and doctors said the outcome was a 50-50 chance of life or death. So there was a 50% chance that these twins would not survive. With a 25-hour surgery, there's just so many things that could go wrong, but luckily it was a success, and the twins seem to be doing good so far. This surgery was years ago, and I tried to look up the most updated information about these twins, Trishna and Krishna, but I only found a 2015 article, and from that article, they seem to be living a very normal life. I haven't heard of any complications from the surgery. Coming into this list, now at number 5 spot, we have the operation that lasted 27 hours. Jayden and Aeneas Mcdonald were born in September 2015. They were conjoined at the crown of the head. They underwent surgery in New York in October of that same year. The surgery began on Thursday morning and ended on Friday. The separation procedure lasted 16 hours, which was immediately followed by 11 hours of surgery to reconstruct their skull with tissue expanders to make them 2 separate individuals. This was the 59th craniopagus separation surgery performed in the world since 1952. Prior to the mid-1980s, it was actually accepted medical practice to sacrifice one child on the operating table to try to save the other, and mostly both babies would die in the process, but it was a chance to take. But luckily, with modern medicine, this isn't the case anymore. Imagine that, your 2 kids, choose one that will survive, but both may not. Moving into number 4, there are 3 doctors who performed a 32-hour surgery, and this surgery was performed in Fujian, China. This picture of the doctors went viral online after the surgery was performed because these 3 doctors worked 32 straight hours on this very one complex surgery. Usually surgeries have much larger teams and surgeons work in like shifts to avoid fatigue. So the picture you guys were looking at, these surgeons were just passed out on the floor. They were just like knocked out, tired. I'm pretty sure they probably just like slept for 8 hours right on the floor. The surgeons had to operate on a patient who had multiple tumors. The patient had both an aneurysm and brainstem hemangioblastoma. Surgeons said that they needed to remove all the tumors in one surgery. The operation was successful. Okay, now at number 3, we have a 2-year-old girl who was born with 4 arms and 4 legs. So this right here is Lakshmi Tattwa, who is from India. She underwent a 40-hour operation. The actual limbs from this little girl was from a parasitic twin who was left unborn. So the twin fused with her body, and the legs and arms, they've been growing with Lakshmi's body. But there's no way to live like that, so doctors took a chance to perform this complex surgery. The team of surgeons in India are amazing because the procedure went according to plan with no problems encountered. So this was a huge success. So now this is what she looks like. I mean, look at this picture, it looks like a normal girl. She's now able to walk on her own and just do ordinary stuff. Moving our way into number 2, we have the 4-day operation. This surgery took place from February 4th to February 8th, 1951. This was a 96-hour procedure at the Chicago hospital to remove a giant ovarian cyst, and this patient was named Gertrude Lewandowski. This is believed to be one of the world's longest surgeries. What made this surgery so complex, other than how long it was the fact that Gertrude's weight is 616 pounds. After the ovarian cyst was successfully removed, she lost over 300 pounds, which is just insane when you think about it. One operation, you're coming out 300 pounds lighter. The reason why the surgery was so long was because the surgeons had to carefully slowly drain the fluids from the cyst. They wanted to prevent a rapid drop in pressure that can affect her already strained heart. So it took 4 days to get about 200 pounds of fluid out of her body, and the cyst itself, when they cut it away, it weighed 150 pounds. Finally, at number 1, we have another pair of conjoined twins. However, this operation took surgeons 103 hours to perform. The operation occurred in 2001, and there was a team of about 20 doctors, and this took place at the Singapore General Hospital. The surgeons there worked in shifts in order to attempt to separate the twins. Ganja and Jumana Shrestha were 11 months old at the time, and they were conjoined at the head, just like the other ones were. They shared a cranial cavity, and their brains were partially fused. So how do you know like which parts of the brain to remove? This operation typically takes about 30 hours. However, doctors discovered that this surgery would be way more complex. The operation was considered a success. However, Ganga contracted meningitis 7 years after and passed away. Meanwhile, Jumana is now 15 years old and is doing very well. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in a new most amazing top 10 video. Bye.